And
And if you stop, if you feel like you just take a breath.
Cause you can go back and edit it, so I ain't gotta edit like this. Ain't live TV.
No,
Okay.
It's not live TV.
All right.
Just take your breath.
Okay.
Because this is what you said you want to do.
This is what. Hey, I'm here.
So you wait.
Shit, did I pull a no show?
No. See, when you stumbled in, you didn't even know. You're like, oh. Okay,
Oh yeah. I mean, this is nice. This is nice. Hollywood at the crib.
Hollywood. Okay. All right. So on the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, roll.
Hi, my name is Chris Pugh, and I am interested in young folks, young black males, kind of trying to, during my give back, and think it's time to give back to those that are, lost. Young guys don't know what they want to do with themselves, and that was me at one point. So what I've come up with is a 13-step process that can help, someone that's motivated, may not feel like they don't know what's going on, what they're going to do with their life. This is 13 steps that can kind of give you some direction and put you on track to, to kind of turn your life around and become the man that you are down inside. And what we've titled this is Lost Black Souls. And the first step is left for dead. What I mean by left for dead is, as black men, we're literally left for dead. We're like the walking dead. It's hard to get jobs, especially those with some type of criminal records in the past. It's hard to get jobs. It's hard to, just to be vibrant and men in the community. So it's important to me that I come get some of these men that have been left for dead and give them life, give them hope, give them, let them know that it's possible. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of digging down inside, but anything is possible. The second step is identify self-value.
No, don't forget the personal story. I remember when I was left for dead.
Okay.
Give a personal story.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I can remember being left for dead, so to speak. I had come home from college, started making knucklehead decisions, running in the streets, and, racked up let's just say I've had some brushes with the law. Now, in my early 20s, I wasn't really worried about what was on. I wasn't going to prison, and I was thinking that I was beating the system because I wasn't going to prison. But in reality, when I turned 30, I kind of wanted to, change my life and kind of make up for some of the mistakes I made. So as I started applying for jobs, I couldn't get no job, and black man with a wife and a family with no income. I felt left for dead because I didn't really feel like who was lobbying for folks like me that was in trouble but had learned from their mistakes and wanted to change their lives around. And literally, there was no one. I had to look in the mirror, dig deep, and find a way, to kind of make up for the shortcomings that I, encountered when I was out there doing knucklehead things, running the streets. So that was, I can relate to the left for dead. That's when I came up with the left for dead theory, because I really literally felt like I was left for dead because I didn't feel like there was no options for me. I couldn't get a job. I was let go on jobs that I had worked for maybe a month or two, and then they tell me my background came back, and I thought that I could outwork my background, meaning not miss a day, show up on time, stay over if they needed to, doing the little extra things. But really, that wasn't enough, because when the records came back, I just had to be let go. And after going through that so many times, I just realized that I really had to dig deep. So that was my experiences and what made me feel like I was left for dead. Step 2 is identifying self-value. Every individual born on this earth has a talent and has a value. And a lot of us practice our values. Whatever you do in your free time, it might be a hobby, but because you spend so much time doing it, then you become good at it. And if you do spend enough time doing it, you become great at it. Well, and what happens is, once you know your value, then anything is possible, because you know how to come over it. Me, myself personally, I struggled with that over the years, as far as knowing what my worth was. I didn't really learn to appreciate my worth until later in life. After 30, I say I'm 47 now. Just turned 47. So for 30 years, I just didn't think I had what it took to be what I always felt that I could be. So the message that I'm looking to share is that the earlier you identify your value, and the more vibrant you can become, because whatever your talent is, a lot of people want to try to be the next rap star, or want to be the next Michael Jordan. Well, unfortunately, everybody doesn't make it into those careers, but there are also so many other career choices and opportunities that I'm pretty sure you could probably fit into. So the second step is identifying self-value. That'll really, that's an important, part of this equation. The third step, identifying personal obstacles. Okay, everybody has a vice, and a lot of times we lean on our vices to forget what we don't want to remember from in the past, or years ago, or it's a distraction. It's a way to not hold ourselves accountable. But the key to turning your life around is identifying your vices. And once you identify your vices and put them in the context of how they're hurting you, then it's easier to control them and to get over them, to prevent them from holding you back in any kind of way. Fourth step is foundation genealogy. It's in you. Greatness is in you. Greatness is in you. It's in every one of us. That's one thing God, delivered to every living soul, was the ability to be great at something. So whatever your talent is that you are doing in your spare time and you love it so much as a hobby, well, there's a great chance that you can become great at it. And knowing your genealogy, it's knowing our history. We so don't know what our great-grandfathers did or great-great-great-grandfathers did. That's an important step, because a lot of the skills that are in us that we inherited come from somewhere. And knowing where that comes from helps a lot. Like I was introduced into new construction and building houses in 2005, and I fell in love with it. I became passionate about it. And after I was probably waist deep into new construction, and this is what I'm gonna do, and this is opportunity to change my life, I discovered that my grandfather was a builder. Back when builders did everything from the foundation to the roof on housing. So that was just confirmation to me that, hey, this is it. This is it. So knowing your history and knowing where you come from plays, can play a vital part in turning your life around if you just knew of the greatness that you inherited and acted upon it. Step 5, build your business. Once you identify that talent, once you identify what you're great at, the next step is to build a business around that talent. And in doing so, now you're taking the step in the direction of having your talent become more than a hobby. You building your business allows you have to comply with the state and federal tax laws. You definitely get tax breaks. All your business expenses are deductions. So a lot of the stuff you're buying now as a hobby actually can be credited as far as a deduction on your taxes. So that's a very important step in turning your life around, because I believe that, if you're passionate about something, then you can become, well off behind it if you just structured it right and, and offered your services in the proper context, so you can say, hey, I'm employed, I employ myself, I work for myself. And I tell you, that's the best feeling in the world, is knowing that you work for yourself. Step 6 is potential stakeholders. Now, once you find, you get your business set up, now it's time to identify who could benefit from my services. And one source is word of mouth. You can ask some of your friends. Another source is you could go to the telephone book and just look under your particular craft, your particular talent, and just see who all is advertising the need for those services. And that's a great place to look, because I remember back in about 2006, 7, I knew I wanted to build. I knew I wanted to be a part of it. I didn't mind working for somebody at that time, because I was just trying to learn the nuances. Well, I got the phone book and went down from A to Z under the builders. And what I found out doing that was that we were about to go into a recession. And time after time, people was like, well, we're not firing anybody, but we're not hiring anybody because we don't know what's about to happen with the economy. But there were a couple guys, and I might have called 50 builders, but there was a couple guys that could hear the passion through the phone on a cold call, and told me that, hey, if we were hiring, man, I'd love to take a shot on you because you sound like this is what you want to do. So that was because I was passionate about, I was finding my talent. So anything you passionate about, you need to let them hear your passion. And in doing so, it would definitely open doors that you probably didn't even know exist. Number 7 is go to the mud. Okay, you've identified your person, you've identified your talent, you've built your business around it, you've identified your potential clients or customers. Now it's time to go to the mud. What I mean about going to the mud? Well, very rarely, unless you have rich relatives or, excellent credit or collateral, you're going to be starting this journey with limited funds. And that could be viewed as a bad thing, but I viewed it as a good thing, because if somebody was to have given me $10,000, $20,000 back in 2005, I probably wouldn't have known how to best utilize those funds. But because I didn't have that opportunity, and hence getting it out the mud, I was able to start from the ground up. And today it serves me well, because on this journey to business owner in the construction field, I started as a laborer and I learned the laborer position. Then I went to a superintendent type of position. Then, and I've even had to break out tools and learn new skill sets but it didn't bother me because I was so passionate about this might be my opportunity that I was eager to learn. But, so not having the funds, to get started, don't let that be a deterrent. Get it out the mud. Say, make up in your mind, I'm going to go with it. It's got to work. I don't have a choice, because if you're a lost black soul, you don't have a choice but to find your talent, build a business around it, and go for all you know. So step 7, 10,000 hours of free labor. That pertains to, it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at anything. So if you are passionate about something and you're doing it for free / hobby, you'll put your time in to become a master, and it won't even seem like work. It won't even seem like a chore. It won't even seem like, oh man, it wouldn't be a drag. Because for me, I started counting my hours maybe 5 years ago when I first became privy to the 10,000 hour, theory to become a master. And it became, when it was time to do something chore related in the building that I just didn't feel like doing, or maybe didn't want to do, I would always tell myself, this is an opportunity to go get 2 of those 10,000 hours or 3 of those 10,000 hours, because until I put in 10,000 hours, I'm not a master. And coming from little hope, no options background, once I found my talent and my gift, I had to master it. I wasn't satisfied just being a fringe player. I wanted to be the master of my craft, because I knew that would allow me the lifestyle that I wanted to live, and that I always saw myself living, but just didn't know how I was going to get there. So 10,000 hours into your craft will put you in a position where you're so knowledgeable and skilled about it that other people will seek you out for your knowledge and skill. That's another business opportunity as far as consulting. I mean, people pay consultants or experts in fields for consulting responsibilities every day of the week. So if you're set up enough and you're passionate enough and you're knowledgeable enough, then, it wouldn't be nothing for somebody to come to you and say, hey, I like how you did that 360 on that skateboard. And I ride skateboards, but every time I try it, I know, what's your trick? How do you do it? Hey, this is what I do. And then you give them a little bit of your knowledge, and now you've made this individual a better skater. So it's definitely beneficial to put in the time to be the person and the live the life that you so set, for yourself, or see for yourself. Step 9 is be the process. What I mean about be the process, well, okay, just like I'm running down these 13 steps to changing your life around, be the process. Whatever steps there are into your newfound passion / self entrepreneurship opportunity. And like I was saying a minute ago, when I got in the building and I started as a laborer, and then I moved up to a superintendent. Then I moved up to, a more managerial position. That's be the process. So you need to know every step, because you ain't got no money to pay nobody. So in the beginning, you're gonna have to do these things. When I was when I was preparing myself to make this strong run into being a builder, all my flyers and websites and business cards, I did them because I didn't have the money to pay nobody to do them. So those are little responsibilities that I took, that I knew, okay, to get from A to B, I'm gonna need marketing material. And I took it upon myself to create that material. I'm fortunate enough today that years later, I'm able to pay for those services. So starting out, don't get discouraged if you have to do a lot of the work. Shout out to TMT. Shout out to TMT. That's my marketing arm. Tamisha, she does a lot. She's gonna help me take my talents to another level, because I really think that, and believe in my heart that the steps that I followed to make myself a viable entity are steps that anybody can follow. And I'm looking forward to meeting and teaching those along the way to their self-discovery, because I really feel like that's a part of my purpose and priority amongst all things in life. Each one teach one. Instead of trying to be the big fish in the small pond, be the small fish in the big pond. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just wherever your level of contentment is. So the next step 10 is streamline the process. What I mean by streamline the process is you always want to train someone. It might, like I said, it might be the young skateboarder. You always want to be in the practice of training individuals to, like when I went from laborer to superintendent, I had to train someone to be the laborer. When I went from superintendent to managerial, I had to train someone to do the superintendent responsibilities. So you always want to create your emotions in such a way that you lay it out to where the next person who's not as committed or is not as familiar, that's a better word, is not as familiar with your brand, your process, that they can follow step by step, because you've created the steps as you were learning and going along the way. So, and in doing so, that allows you to grow your business by adding more people. And now, here you go from, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm lost, I got all these responsibilities, I got children, I got a wife, or a family that I'm struggling to support and to play my role, to now you're offering other people's opportunities who felt the same way as you did a short time ago. So it's very fruitful and it's very fulfilling when you are able to train someone up in the ways that you kind of walk through yourself. Number 11 is, the next step is managing the process. Okay, every day I have to go by my projects. I like to keep 4 to 6 projects going along. So what you want to do is you have to know how the system is going, how, checking the widgets, making sure everything is turning the way it's supposed to be. Because once you set it up and you have others running your process, it might be your marketing, it might be your accountant, it might be your lawyer. You have to manage, your team members to make sure that you're all moving towards the goal, which is being an affluent, in a position to where you can reach back and pull up the next individual, because it's hundreds of thousands of millions of us out there. And the task is, once you get to the plateau, then you have to reach down and bring someone else up and train them and teach them about the importance of bringing up the next person. So in doing so, you're managing the day-to-day, you're forecasting for next month or next quarter. So you definitely have to keep your eyes on the prize, they say, and definitely know what's going on with your business at all times, and stay with your thumb on the pulse, so you can kind of predict what changes need to be made before they actually need to be made. Next step, knowledge, resources, desire, and mindset. Okay, knowledge comes from your 10,000 hours. You know, you're knowledgeable of what it is your talent is. You know everything about maximizing your talent and taking your talent to the next level. Resources come with, you have to identify, okay, what do I need versus what do I have? And we're not just talking about money. We talking about people. We talking about situation. You may know someone that, let's say back to the skateboarder. You may know someone that manages a park, and you say, you know what? I want to teach a class here. So, is that possible? What do I need to do? Because I have 5 people, 10 people, however many people coming to this class to learn how to do the triple jump, like you explained to the guy earlier. So that's a resource. A lot of times we think resources, we think money. Resources come in 100 different ways, and you gotta know your resources and kind of get an idea what resources you do have versus focusing on the money you may not have. Desire. Back to passion. If it's something you desire or something you're passionate about, back to the hobby we do, it's a hobby. Well, you definitely have the desire to become better at it, because if you're doing something that no one's paying you or no one's watching you, then the desire to put in those 10,000 hours are definitely there. So that's something that you definitely have to, add to the equation of changing one's life around. Mindset. You definitely have to have a mindset that I'm gonna withstand all obstacles. I see the goal, and whatever comes up in the process of getting to that goal, I'm gonna deal with it individually at the time it rears its head, and I'm gonna hold myself accountable for any contributions I've made to the situation being as such. So you definitely need to have a strong mindset that, hey, I ain't got no options. I ain't got no other choice. I ain't got no other way. And keep that in mind for the tough times, because they're gonna come, but depending on how you mentally, interpret them is gonna determine how soon or how long they linger and how you can move past. And the last step is give back. There's no greater feeling in the world than coming from a lost soul, clueless, looking for some help, assistance, a break, opportunity, whatever you want to call it, and finding very little to none. That's a pretty dark place. That could put you in a dark place. Well, there's nothing better than coming from that place, identifying your talent, building a business around it, managing the process, training others, and we'll call that giving others opportunities that you couldn't find. That is where I am at this point in my life and career. I've always knew that I wanted to give back. I wanted to teach other lost black souls, that there is hope and it's within us. But I had to wait till, the timing wasn't right. I asked God, I know what you have set for me. Just help me get to that point and not let me get in my own way, so to speak. And what the point where I am now, not that I'm on top of the mountain, but I'm not in the valley. And I get as much satisfaction for giving back and giving others hope and giving others opportunity and helping others realize their passions and to help them to the point where they can help someone else. That is probably the greatest feeling. That's just an amazing feeling, knowing where I came from and how lost I was and how directionless I was, to be able to provide direction for another individual is just the greatest thing in the world. And I hope you take these, heed these steps, and you dig into yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and, kind of hold yourself accountable and see where it is, what you're doing now that may be holding you back from becoming the great person you're capable of. And I hope one day we cross paths and I've said something today that inspired you or made you think or, or just gave you hope, because that's what it's about. Right now I'm in the hope and trust business. I want you to have that hope, because without it, it's just a harder road to bear. But we all have the abilities to become, come up out of our situations and turn our lives around and be a blessing to others, and as we are blessed. So with that being said, Chris Pugh, hope I said something to pique your interest, and until next time, you have a good day. I did it. No. It felt good. I'm a natural, but going unscripted got me here. But I can't and you sent me this, I didn't even look.
Don't worry, I'm an editor.
Yeah.
This is so, there's a workbook that's gonna come from this. So